We'll be looking at the seductive process part of the book right from the start. Choose the right victim. Know who to seduce and who not to waste your time on. Preparing for the hunt. The Vicomte the Valmont was notorious for his subtle and serpent-like seductive traits. Leaving behind his conquests in Paris, he went for a calm visit to the provinces. At his aunt's chateau, he took on a challenge worthy of his skills, the seduction of a beautiful but prude and devoted wife. Attraction is not a choice. The Vicomte discovered a new type of woman he wasn't used to seeing. She was alluring and unique. He decided to conquer her heart, however she had already seduced him. It was her natural, confident, noble, and innocent character that drew him in. He then tested the waters, appeared where she would be, invited her to spend time with him and his aunt, and when he sensed that she was receptive of his advances, he knew the process could carry on. Now before we move on, I can already feel a bunch of you getting uncomfortable with the terminology Greene uses, and he's gotten some hate for it. Seduction is a kind of manipulation. Persuasion, sales, influencing people, you can call it whatever you want. We're essentially talking about manipulation. And manipulation can be used for both good and bad. Let's take my mother for example. 15 years ago, she told me to eat my spinach so I could get lots of muscle like my back then hero Popeye, knowing fully well that I was more likely to eat my vegetables that way. Now does that make her an evil mastermind? No, it doesn't, right? And when Greene uses the word victim here, it simply means that person, regardless of gender, is on the receiving end of seduction. They're the ones being seduced. And I dare you to make this a man versus woman thing. I'll gladly destroy your biased arguments. And I'll say a few more words about that at the end. Continuing. Keys to seduction. What are the most important lessons we should take away from this chapter? Get a sense of who you're dealing with, be that through observation, direct confrontation, or gathering intel. Determine whether you genuinely like the person. Figure out what they are like. What are their interests? Who are they with? Are they currently in a relationship? Are they looking for one? Where do they live? What do they do professionally? In, I hate to say it, pickup terms, this is called screening. You get to know your victim on a superficial level, you find out the logistics, and that's enough for you to see whether or not they're worth your time and the continuance of the seductive process. Basically, are they worth pursuing? Test the waters for biting fish. See if you can build up a tension, a sign for erotic potential between you and your victim. If they're not open to your influence, there's nothing to be gained. Your advances are better saved for another target, especially when you're in a venue full of potential victims. Look for the ones who are hungry for your attention. It's more than okay to be chosen by someone. They will allow your advances because they genuinely like it. Now this is a big one. Don't settle for less. Here's one of the greatest lies imposed on men. Ready? She's out of your league. You're not good enough for her. Listen, this is nothing more than a limiting belief disguised as a societal standard. Don't get a partner in your league just because you've been told you have to. This bullshit makes me angry. There is no leagues. There is only superficially more attractive people. The sense of entitlement people get because they resemble magazine models is insane. Beauty fades. The person you are 20 years from now. What will your worth be once your beauty's gone? That's a legitimate question. Ask yourself. Is that all I am? Pretty. I'm just a pretty fucking person. That's my strength. I was born with it. Just a lot of it is genetics. and well, yeah, that's me. Come on. The value of a person is not solely determined by how good looking they are and what their bank account looks like. This notion that people who've been told that they're ugly are less important is sad. Don't settle for less, ever. And just to make this clear, no one said stop going to the gym, eat whatever you want, stop taking care of your hygiene, and play video games all day because it doesn't matter. You can get with someone either way. No. Actually, I'd advise you to do quite the opposite of that. No word twisting allowed here. Also, go to the gym for your physical and mental health and the person you'll become by constant, tough and disciplined workouts. Not because a six-pack will help you get laid. That's a positive side effect, but it shouldn't necessarily be your main motivator. Don't rush into a relationship. Whatever you do, don't rush into a relationship just to be in one. It's a scarcity mindset. We're all afraid of being alone, and we're seen as losers if we can't get with another person. Oh, he's single because he's a freak. Being single is freaking awesome, and nothing to be ashamed of. Look, in my opinion, there's nothing better than being with the love of your life, if that exists for you. But take it slowly. See where the relationship goes before you make big plans. That's one of your biggest decisions in life. Next thing you know, you got kids with a person you hate and you're getting a divorce. Not even gonna talk about the fiasco that then ensues. I wish people were more concerned about the children they're putting into this world. It sucks big time to have young parents who don't have any fucking idea what they're doing. It sucks even more to be raised by divorced parents. Choose carefully who you decide to settle down with. It is a stroke of good fortune to find one who is worth seducing. Most people rush ahead, become engaged or do other stupid things, and in a turn of the hand everything is over, and they know neither what they have won nor what they have lost. Soren Kierkegaard, or something like that. And that is such a profound statement. They know neither what they have won nor what they have lost. The wrong victim can destroy your life. Like the Vicomte, you may think you're seducing your victim, when in reality you are the one being seduced. In that kind of situation, you may very well end up a slave in the hands of your new master, your sole task being to provide for them for the rest of your miserable life. Now I know this sounds negative, and it is. Realize when the tables are turned. From time to time, the hunter gets hunted. But then again, ladies and gentlemen, being seduced by a master is almost always a great pleasure. We secretly want to be deceived and give in, and if done right, we have the time of our lives. But on the other hand, waiting for a promised call, usually women, and losing a shitload of money, usually men, is not that much fun. Even way worse is ending up a single parent, so be careful who you give in to. It's your responsibility, yours alone. Reversal. There is none. No logical argument in the world would state that you rather waste your time and resources by pursuing an unsuitable victim. Forget what you've been shown in the media. Romance movies are not real life. Hitch, the Date Doctor, is great entertainment. Sure, Kevin James is amazing. Netflix and chill. But do not, by the love of God, take it seriously. Hollywood is not a portrayal of reality. Stand in front of a chick's window in her garden with a boombox, a love song so loud the neighbors are complaining, or even worse, you wrote your own poem. You will creep them out. They'll either be scared or embarrassed for life. Worst case scenario, she calls the cops and you get a sexual offense charge. That's the world we live in. Act accordingly. Someone treats you horribly, ignore them, leave, have a walk, and don't come back to them. Take on an abundance mentality. Walk away if your terms aren't met. I'm not saying don't try hard. I'm saying know the difference between a worthy challenge and a fruitless, conceited leech who will suck you dry. And not in a good way. I was hesitant with taking on the Art of Seduction because I was and still am convinced the majority of the requests came from people desperate to learn how to get laid. Now, there is nothing wrong with that in particular, but only picturing what kind of questions I'd get thrown at me, I felt the sense of frustration. As I've seen with the 40 Lost series, I spend a ridiculous amount of time explaining each chapter, and I still get some very basic questions that I thought I wouldn't need to address in the first place. Like, wait a minute, I'm confused. Doesn't that law contradict this law? And yes, it does. It will be the same with the Art of Seduction. Imagine each law. And it's a law, by the way, not a rule, not a trick, not a pickup routine, it's a law. Imagine each of them as a recipe for different delicious meals. Some food goes together fairly well, and some just doesn't mix. First of all, you need the right ingredients, then there is still the risk you'll overcook it, you'll put too much salt, it will take fire, you burn yourself preparing the sauce, or even that the person you're cooking the meal for simply doesn't like the dish, because believe it or not, they might have a different taste. You're not supposed to be applying every law at every instance at the same time. No one ever said that. Some of the laws are simply there to be aware of them. Just like I don't want you to start a cult, I don't want you to destroy a 20-year-old marriage, but it's not my responsibility if you choose to or not. If I showed you how to defend yourself against a powerful knife attack and you chose to take away from it what a powerful knife strike looks like and how you can attack people with it, that's you. I personally have morals and principles, and I live by them as best I can, which by the way is the contrary of what Machiavelli would have taught me. But I'm not going to take the moral high ground and judge people I barely know on social media as it has become the norm now. I'd like this to be a judge-free zone just as much as I want the girl I'm flirting with to know I'm not judgmental. The stories girls have revealed to me starting with, "Well, I really shouldn't tell you this, but..." were horrifying at times. In my mind, I was like, what the? But I don't say that to the girl. It ruins the mood. I'm simply taking a look at Robert Greene's books and bringing it to you in my original, unique and entertaining way. And I got a little bit to bring to the table on this topic as well, and this series will be very red pill, meaning we all choose reality over comfortable lies. We don't choose to live in the Matrix. There's no safe spaces here. We're living right now and want to see everything for what it is, because in order to prosper in your environment, you have to know the environment. You have to be as close to the truth of what's going on, what's working, what's achieving positive results in the present moment as you possibly can, putting aside your ego and wishful thinking. So if you're against that, the illacertus community is not the place for you. If you want to be played to your fantasies instead, go buy 6-minute ab workouts for $100, spend $500 on supplements that don't work, buy Tai Lopez's program and read The Game by Neil Strauss. My point is, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you're not that kind of person. The illacerti, which is the plural of illacertus, as I like to call the badasses following this channel closely, don't just mindlessly consume self-development videos on YouTube to feel good about themselves, and they actually do try to implement the things that make sense to them. Not because they're absolutely going to work 100% all of the time, no, but because they understand at a fundamental core level that they will grow as a person from the experience by taking bold action. It's not what you do, it's who you become. If you are that person, I'm happy you found this content and I hope you stick around, because you're more than welcome. You are the guys I'm doing this for. When creating, I ask myself, what would have been of great value to me at the age of 18, maybe younger? What lessons did I learn through painful trial and error, through rejection, through getting my ass handed to me in social dynamics, business, and overall life, that I can share with people who then don't have to make the same mistakes I made in order to learn? Of course, I also learned from my successes, and I'll be sharing it all with you. Continuing. When I refer to a certain law within this series, I will be talking about the, in total, 24 laws of seduction. Yes, we'll be taking a look at the seducer types as well. No, we probably won't cover the victim types. I think it's overkill and counterproductive in the way that it's only going to get you in your head, even more when talking to people. Categorizing others into boxes is exactly the opposite of what you want to do. See each individual as a new island to explore. There might be some buried treasures you'd overlook otherwise. Greene saw this book as the logical follow-up to the 48 Laws of Power, since seduction is, quote, about power and manipulation, as much as it is about romance, about how to make someone fall under your spell. Without a doubt, I will be contributing much of my own thoughts aside from summarizing Greene's texts, and I think it is needless to say that I am a heterosexual white male, the worst thing feminists can think of nowadays, and that my observations are through my own lens. I do think, however, that if you're female, statistically 10% of my viewers are women, you can learn just as much, if not more, from this quote-unquote seduction program. Matter of fact, I encourage women to approach men more. Make that first step. If a guy strikes you as very attractive, chances are other women see that as well, and he most likely has a higher abundance of women than other men. Maybe you're not that special on the surface that he will notice you or even talk to you, and nothing ends up happening. Inner values count more with quality men, and that's the men you're after. That's the guys who will call you back. To the contrary of what some Facebook statuses want to make you believe, they are in the majority. And what better way to show you're a confident, strong woman than by taking your love life into your own hands? Alright, if you're not already watching this in the official playlist, then be sure to click this box right here. It will guide you through the laws in perfect chronological order. No tedious searching for more necessary. As always, thanks for watching. And don't subscribe if you're not ready. Some reverse psychology seduction for you.